Should Brown seek an emergency QB if Watson is suspended for the whole season?
Yeah, so let's start here. The NFL put in their suggestion to the arbiter, Phil. That finally happened, this past weekend. There were some rumors. It was confirmed by Mary Kay Cabot last night. The NFL is recommending Deshaun Watson to be suspended indefinitely. So they think that it's going to have to be the process of where it's at minimum a season, where you have to apply for reinstatement after that, and they work with you, several months throughout next offseason, that kind of thing. And then the question of should the Browns seek an emergency QB, that's going to be the chatter. I don't know, man. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I do think Jacoby is valuable in the fact that he is just a game-managing quarterback. He can make the throws. He's not going to lose you games. He's not going to win you games. But on the inverse, this roster is ready to win right now. And I don't think the Browns were anticipating being without Deshaun Watson for a year. With Nick Chubb in his prime, with Myles Garrett in his prime, with Amari Cooper is 27, not getting any younger. I don't know. They're in a funny spot now. If the arbiter holds up with this and makes it a full year suspension or indefinitely.
Yeah, sometimes the indefinite can be... Indefinitely is just a more term for them to say, we don't know yet.
Yeah, which I don't like that.
We still figuring it out. Indefinitely can be less than a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come week 5, week 6, some fall through and these cases are not what they seem to be. He could be, not eligible, but he can ask to be reinstated then. You know what I mean? But usually indefinitely is they say at least a year. But I just feel like it's another whole season. Another whole season. You already got time. Did one whole season.
So then you're right, returning a guy that hasn't played a meaningful snap in an NFL uniform against an NFL defense in 2 years. So do you go emergency QB route? I mean, you got Sam Darnold out there with the Baker Mayfield stuff in Carolina. You got Jimmy Garoppolo
I wouldn't
out
go
there.
Trade for another QB. You got QBs on your roster.
So you just go with Brissett for the year?
You got to. You got too much money to just be trying to just bring a $3-4 million a year guy in for 1 year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just... You're going to have to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you made the decision about the QB you wanted, so you got to stick with it.
And we all make decisions in life. And
it sucks, man, because I know I always bring it up, but I feel like if the Browns just went that far to get this QB and didn't do their due diligence, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like they knew that things wouldn't be that bad unless all these new things they had no idea about, and I'm pretty sure they won't say it. You know what I mean? So Who knows?
Dude, they're in an ugly spot right now. There's no question about that, and this is going to be an ugly week. Like as this podcast comes out, there still isn't going to be a decision. So they're meeting with the arbitrator on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and then the decision is up to Sue L. Robinson, who is, a former U.S. Supreme Court judge, to make her ruling from there out. This is the first time that they're doing this. There is no precedent on this type of process. There's also no precedent on the fact that there's 26 allegations where, some things you could point to. Ezekiel Elliott got 8 games. Big Ben only got 4, I think. That was way back years ago. No. So we're kind of just shooting in the dark here. But for the Browns, for what they're going to do on the field, I'm sure that there's going to be a little regret that starts to sink in. If you're, looking on the sideline week 7, week 8 at Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb in their primes, and you're like, man, what are we doing here? To finish 3rd place in the division again, we thought we had the answer at quarterback. We finished 3rd in the division last year with the goon that we could have had start this year, and we finished 3rd place anyway. And gave up 3 first-round picks, so they don't have any first-rounders next year to recoup.
They're ready to play. They're ready to win now, but I feel like, man, this whole situation, it'll blow over. If he's out for a year, he's out for a year. And I don't think they would have, the way they did his contract, like they knew he might be out for a year.
So here's another part of that, though, is all these free agents on the defensive line. Jadeveon Clowney took a 1-year deal to come back and play with Watson. Anthony Walker, the linebacker, 1-year deal to come back. All these dudes, that are here to play with Deshaun Watson. Amari Cooper, you're not getting his contract off the books until 2026, 2027. Dude is making a ton of money. Phil, I just can't see any conceivable way where they could be like, oh, it's a year. We're gonna throw away a year, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens in 2024. Oh, and also we don't have any first round picks, so it's not like we're gonna get any better this offseason because we have no way to.
Only time will tell.
And I'm with you that I'm saying all this, but I have no solution. Yeah, there's nothing that they can do. The only way through this is through this. There's no way around it. They just have to put their heads down and get through it. They made the decision. Deshaun Watson is going to be their quarterback. Unless they exercise this clause in his contract where they can get out of the money, you still don't get the draft picks. And then what do? Go full teardown mode and try to trade away Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward to recoup as many of those first rounders back as possible? Maybe. I don't think that's the best route, but we'll see.